At this point, it doesn't even matter that mainstream media outlets try to avoid talking about Donald Trump's cognitive decline because he forces them to cover it. And it's not just networks like MSNBC or CNN, which MAGA supporters often dismiss as liberal. Even Fox News has now been pushed into acknowledging concerns after a shocking video of Trump went public. We're going to break it all down. But before we do, if you're enjoying this content, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe. It really helps support the work we do here. Now, before we get into how Fox News ended up addressing that viral Trump clip, I want to highlight the one person on that network who sounded reasonable, Jessica Tarlov. She called out the fact that, in the middle of a looming government shutdown, the former president seemed focused on just one thing: his time on the golf course.
Great time at those events, but it doesn't mean that it's going to translate into a good midterms, which is what Republicans are after. And everyone, what did they say in the prompter? That you're stuck in the sand trap. And evidence would point to things going in the Democrats' direction, and Mike Johnson knows it, and Senator Thune knows it, and they're backpedaling about the government shutdown. They can't get Democratic votes than they need because they won't even compromise to let people keep their health care or put back cancer research funding. And I had everyone waving in my face that Reuters poll that said that you guys were leading on all the issues that matter by these huge margins. And I doubt that you feel good going into a midterm with only 34% saying you have a better plan on the economy, 40% on immigration, and 25% on health care when this is stacking up to be a healthcare election. There's a good Harry Enton clip from this morning. I love it when he does it. He said, a huge shift to the Dems in U.S. House special elections. Dems doing 18 points better than Harris did. The party that outperforms the presidential baseline won every midterm since 2006. So I don't know what happens. I don't want to be the Jesse Waters of 2026, but I wouldn't feel so braggy at this particular moment on the golf range or at the polls.
Sometimes it's almost refreshing to be reminded of just how little Donald Trump actually cares about the American people. Right now, with a government shutdown looming, Trump couldn't care less. If the shutdown happens, he'll use it as an excuse to fire as many people as possible and inflict maximum pain. And if the shutdown doesn't happen, if a budget deal is reached, he's still unlikely to follow the law because he never has. What makes this moment even more telling is how Trump is really spending his time on the golf course. Meanwhile, one of the biggest issues within the MAGA world is the crisis facing farmers. Trump's reckless tariffs have devastated their livelihoods, their land, and in many cases, family legacies. Soybean farmers in particular have been crushed, once selling millions of metric tons to China, but now losing that market entirely because of Trump's policies. So while he tries to pin the blame for a shutdown on Democrats, what exactly is he going to say to the farmers he's already had to bail out? Those bailouts exist only because of his tariffs, and of course, the spin machine will try to cover it up. Before we get into the Fox News video, I want to start with J.D. Vance's appearance on the network, where he tried to lie about the shutdown and why it's so important to set the record straight.
This government shutdown issue looming next week. How do you see this? And are you opposed to a shutdown, or do you think there would be advantages to that potentially?
Well, look, we don't want to shut down the government, Martha, but it's really up to the Democrats. Under our system, you need 60 Senate Democrats to vote for the clean continuing resolution that the president and House Republicans have put forward. I think it's preposterous, Martha, and I think the American people really should pay attention to the fact that Democrats are threatening to shut down the entire government because they want to give hundreds of billions of dollars of health care benefits to illegal aliens. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen a political party actually advertising the fact that they want to shut down every essential function of government, and they want to use that as leverage so that they get more money for illegal alien health care benefits. It's such a stark contrast between Republicans who are trying to put the interests of the American people first and Democrats who I think would want to take money from the American people to give benefits to illegal aliens. We don't want to shut down the government, but if Democrats refuse to just pass this clean continuing resolution, that's exactly what's going to happen, and I think the Democrats are going to bear the responsibility for it.
All right, we'll see what.
This is the chameleon nature of J.D. Vance, and something I talked about earlier this morning with the MAGA victim complex. They always want to be the victim. They say they're superior, they're the best, but at the same time, it's those mean Democrats. Oh no, not the mean Democrats. We have control of all of the power in Washington, but somehow, some way, a strongly worded letter is what's keeping us down. It's just idiotic from MAGA. We know this to be the case. But it seems like Donald Trump, who is looking to strip millions of people from their health care, has a solution that he shared in an AI Fox video that he had to delete in Fox. Well, we'll just get into what Fox did. Trump deletes wild AI video he shared in which he promoted a magic med bed that cures disease and regrows limbs. Donald Trump has deleted a bizarre AI-generated video he shared in which he's seen promoting a magic bed which purportedly could cure all diseases. The president late Saturday night shared the phony video on True Social, which shows him on a fake Fox News broadcast of My View, with Laura Trump touting a med bed which has mythical healing powers. Journalist Alex Kaplan shared the video with Trump saying that he's pushing the med bed conspiracy. And as you can see here, it is an AI video that you don't even need to see. It's just so ridiculous. And a fake Laura Trump is explaining that Donald Trump's got a new healthcare plan. Some on the extreme right have promoted the conspiracy theory that the U.S. military has med beds which can cure any disease and even regrow missing limbs. According to some versions of the conspiracy, liberal billionaires have kept the revolutionary beds from the public. The video was deleted from Trump's account on Sunday morning, but not before backlash from prominent medical professionals and others. Gavin Newsom chimed in with, "Trump is about to shut down the government and rip health care from 20 million Americans. What's he doing? Posting AI-generated slop about miracle hospital beds that cure all illness. Donald Trump has lost it." And of course, Fox had to comment with a spokesperson quickly distancing the network from the phony video, telling Mediaite the video did not air on My View with Laura Trump on Fox News Channel or any other Fox News media platforms. Over on Fox, there was clear panic about being forced to cover Donald Trump's bizarre AI video featuring Lara Trump. In the clip, she pushes a conspiracy about so-called liberal billionaires supposedly hiding medical technology. The irony, of course, is that the right has openly embraced billionaires like Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Jeff Bezos, Larry Ellison, and let's not forget Donald Trump himself. Yet somehow, it's always George Soros or a few others with a couple of $1 billion who are supposedly controlling everything, not the people worth hundreds of billions. The mental gymnastics required to make that argument are incredible. Even Fox seemed to realize how ridiculous it all was, essentially admitting, yeah, this is nonsense. And what made it worse is that Trump deleted the video. If he had left it up, you could at least argue maybe it was trolling. Maybe it was a bad joke. But deleting it showed that he actually believed it was real. And while I'm not going to play the clip here, the strangest part is that it didn't just feature Lara Trump talking about these supposed medical beds, it also included an AI-generated Trump praising them, sounding just as cartoonish and fake as you'd expect. Honestly, It was even more absurd than his infamous Tylenol comments. The fact that Trump seemed to take it seriously is proof of just how far gone he is mentally. And all of this is happening while the country faces the threat of a government shutdown. That's where his focus is. Senator Chris Van Hollen called out exactly that disconnect.
President Trump's going to meet with congressional leaders at the White House tomorrow. You just heard Speaker Mike Johnson effectively saying there's really nothing that we're going to offer them. If that is the case and the government funding bill is just this clean CR that they're talking about, are you going to vote no?
Well, Jake, it's good to see the president finally get off the golf course and decide to talk and avoid the government shutdown he's been taking us to. And he's been much more focused, as we all know, on keeping the Epstein files locked up than keeping the government open. Look, the president wants a blank check. This is a lawless president. He's been illegally withholding funds. He promised on day one he was going to bring down prices. They've gone up. What we're saying is that we should turn off this ticking time bomb, which Republicans left in place, that's going to create a huge spike in healthcare premiums for about 20 million Americans. Until now, the president has said, nope, he'd rather shut down the government than prevent those healthcare costs from spiking. I'm glad we're finally talking. We'll see what happens.
This time last year, when there was a government shutdown looming, you said that a shutdown would, quote, needlessly disrupt essential government services and leave tens of thousands of federal employees working in Maryland without pay, unquote. The year before that, you said keeping the government open was, quote, one of our most basic responsibilities as lawmakers, unquote. Is none of that operative anymore?
Well, Jake, it is. It would be very disruptive, which is why I'm opposed to having a government shutdown. And Donald Trump is the one that has been driving us in that direction, along with Republicans on Capitol Hill, who have totally forfeited their constitutional responsibilities to Donald Trump. I mean, they have abdicated those responsibilities, subcontracted out to Donald Trump. If you talk to Senate Republicans, they understand that giving the president a blank check to illegally withhold funds, which he's been doing from day one, much of it with the help of Elon Musk, that's the wrong way to go. But they refuse to stand up to him, and we're not going to write a blank check, and we want to prevent these huge spikes in healthcare costs. That's what we're after. Again, he promised lower prices across the board. His across-the-board tariffs are jacking up prices on everybody. We're focused on trying to address this issue. The president apparently doesn't give a damn and is prepared to shut down the government rather than deal with this healthcare spike.
At this point, I don't know how you wouldn't feel embarrassed if you're part of MAGA. The former president is so completely out of touch that this is what he's focused on right now, while trying to put on a tough guy act, and that act is honestly laughable. Sure, MAGA supporters might get excited about the idea of going after James Comey, but let's be clear, it's not going to work. In fact, it's only going to backfire on Donald Trump. And Senator Tim Kaine explained exactly why.
Another question specific to Virginia, and that is what is going on inside the judicial system. Back in August, it was the U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Virginia, Todd Gilbert, who suddenly resigned. Then, earlier this month, the U.S. Attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia, Eric Siebert, resigned after failing to bring a case against New York's Attorney General Letitia James. What is going on here in the Virginia court system?
Margaret, it's pretty darn plain. The president nominated 2 U.S. attorneys in Virginia, both with Republican bona fides. Todd Gilbert in the Western District had been the Republican Speaker of our House of Delegates. He resigned as a legislator to take the Trump appointment. President Trump's team interviewed these candidates, approved the candidates, nominated the candidates, and then even appointed them into the interim position. But both were forced out because they said their integrity as prosecutors would not allow them to genuflect to Donald Trump. And in Todd Gilbert's case, they wanted to force him to demote a longtime career member of the Western District of Virginia who had served under multiple administrations and presidents. He refused to do so. And in Eric Siebert's case, he refused to bring a criminal charge against a perceived Trump political opponent when there was no evidence to support the charge. President Trump spending time going after enemies, trying to figure out a way to give $20 billion to a friend, the Argentine government, instead of dealing with the challenges we elected him to confront. Food prices are going up, building supplies are going up, school supplies are going up, energy costs are going up, healthcare costs are going up, and Donald Trump seems to be focused on a retribution campaign. You got to focus, man. This is an important job. It's time to focus.
Well,
I also want to point out something obvious. If Donald Trump truly believes he can prosecute his political opponents because they've supposedly broken so many laws, then why hasn't he gone after Joe Biden or Barack Obama? Where are those indictments? The truth is, it doesn't add up. It's all nonsense. What's really happening is clear. Donald Trump is abusing power to serve himself above everything else. And that's exactly what we're going to keep calling out on this show day after day. If you want to support that work, make sure to hit the subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you've made it all the way to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.